Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." These words, spoken by one of history's greatest Stoic thinkers, hold a timeless truth. The key to relentless success lies not in controlling the world around us, but in mastering ourselves. In today's fast-paced, unpredictable world, Stoicism offers more than just ancient wisdom. It provides a blueprint for resilience, focus, and unshakable inner strength. This isn't about abstract philosophy. It's about practical tools you can use to navigate challenges, achieve your goals, and thrive no matter what life throws your way. In this video, we're diving into 34 hard-hitting Stoic secrets, each one a powerful strategy for personal growth and success. From cultivating self-discipline to mastering emotional control, these principles will help you build a mindset that's unbreakable. Ready to transform the way you think, act, and live? Let's begin. How often do you let external events dictate your emotions? Think about it. When something unexpected happens, do you immediately feel frustration, anger, or stress? Stoicism teaches us that it's not the events themselves that shape our reality, but how we perceive them. Epictetus, one of Stoicism's most influential thinkers, put it simply, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This idea is foundational to Stoic philosophy. We can't control everything that happens to us, but we can control how we interpret and respond to those events. Let's break this down with an example. Imagine you're stuck in traffic, running late for an important meeting. You could let frustration take over, cursing the situation and spiraling into stress. Or you could reframe it. Use that time to gather your thoughts, listen to an inspiring podcast, or simply take a moment to breathe. The situation hasn't changed, but your perception of it has, and that shift can transform a moment of tension into one of opportunity. This is the power of perception in action. It's not about ignoring reality or pretending everything is fine. It's about choosing to see challenges as opportunities for growth, setbacks as lessons, and obstacles as chances to build resilience. So take a moment to reflect. What's a recent challenge you faced? How did you perceive it? Could you reframe it in a way that empowers you rather than holds you back? This small shift in mindset is the first step toward building the unshakable focus and inner strength that Stoicism champions. Life is full of uncertainties, and one of the most profound lessons Stoicism offers is this: not everything is within your control, but your response always is. This is the essence of the Dichotomy of Control, a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. It's the idea that some things are up to us and some things simply aren't. Trying to control the uncontrollable only leads to frustration and wasted energy. Instead, Stoicism teaches us to focus our efforts where they truly matter, on our thoughts, decisions, and actions. Seneca, one of Stoicism's greatest voices, put it this way: "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." In other words, much of our stress and anxiety comes from worrying about things we can't change. Imagine losing your job unexpectedly. It's a tough situation, no doubt. But while you can't control the company's decision, you can control how you respond. Do you spiral into panic, or do you take it as an opportunity to reassess your goals, update your skills, and explore new paths? The event itself is neutral. It's your reaction that gives it meaning. This principle isn't just about acceptance, it's about empowerment. By focusing on what's within your control, you reclaim your agency. You stop being a passive victim of circumstances and start becoming an active participant in your life. So, here's a practical exercise. Take a moment to list the things in your life that are outside your control, like the weather, other people's opinions, or traffic. Then, list the things you can control: your attitude, your effort, your choices. This simple act of clarity can help you redirect your energy toward what truly matters. freeing you from unnecessary stress and paving the way for greater resilience and success. The dichotomy of control isn't about giving up or being passive. It's about channeling your energy wisely so you can face life's challenges with calm and confidence. And when you do that, you'll find that even in the face of adversity, you hold the key to your own strength and peace of mind. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, faced immense adversity during his reign. Wars, political betrayals, and personal loss were constants in his life, yet he remained steadfast, writing in his personal journal, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This mindset of seeing obstacles not as barriers but as opportunities is at the heart of Stoic resilience. It's not about avoiding hardship, it's about developing the mental toughness and emotional stability to endure it with grace. Resilience, in the Stoic sense, isn't something you're born with, it's something you cultivate. It's the ability to face challenges head-on, to adapt, and to grow stronger through adversity. Think of it like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it becomes. And just like physical training, building resilience requires consistent effort. One of the most effective ways to do this is through practices like journaling. Marcus Aurelius' Meditations is essentially a collection of his personal reflections, a testament to how writing can help you process emotions, clarify thoughts, and strengthen your resolve. Another powerful tool is meditation, not in the traditional sense, but as a way to pause and reflect. Stoic meditation involves stepping back from the chaos of life, even for a few minutes, to remind yourself of what truly matters. It's about grounding yourself in the present moment and reconnecting with your core values. These practices aren't just theoretical, they're practical steps you can take to build resilience in your own life. Now take a moment to reflect on a time when you faced a difficult situation. How did you respond? Did you feel overwhelmed, or did you find a way to push through? Resilience isn't about never feeling fear or doubt, it's about moving forward despite them. By embracing Stoic principles, you can train yourself to face life's challenges with calm and confidence, knowing that every obstacle is an opportunity to grow stronger. What if you lost everything you value tomorrow? Your job, your relationships, even your health? It's a jarring question, but one that Stoics like Seneca believed was essential to ask. This practice, known as negative visualization, isn't about dwelling on fear or despair. Instead, it's a powerful tool for cultivating gratitude, resilience, and emotional preparedness. By imagining the worst-case scenarios, you train your mind to appreciate what you have right now and to face potential challenges with calm clarity. Seneca, one of Stoicism's most eloquent voices, often wrote about the importance of appreciating the present moment. He said, "He who is not content with what he has would not be content with what he would like to have." In other words, no matter how much we achieve or acquire, true contentment comes from valuing what's already here. Negative visualization helps us reconnect with that truth. It's like holding up a mirror to your life, revealing the fleeting nature of everything you cherish and reminding you not to take it for granted. Here's how it works in practice. Take a moment to picture losing something you deeply value, a loved one, your career, or even your sense of security. Sit with that thought, not to dwell on the pain, but to recognize the impermanence of life. Then, shift your focus back to the present. Notice how much more vivid and precious your current circumstances feel. This exercise doesn't just build gratitude, it also reduces anxiety by helping you realize that even if the worst happens, you have the strength to endure it. Negative visualization isn't about inviting pessimism into your life, it's about grounding yourself in reality. By mentally preparing for adversity, you strip away the fear of the unknown. You learn to face life's uncertainties with a steady mind and a grateful heart. So why not give it a try for the next week? Spend a few minutes each day imagining a worst-case scenario. Reflect on how it makes you feel and notice how it shifts your perspective on what you have. You might just find that this simple practice transforms the way you approach challenges and appreciate the present. Epictetus once said, "Happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one principle. Some things are within our control and some things are not." This simple yet profound idea lies at the heart of the Stoic principle of living in accordance with nature. But what does it mean to live in harmony with nature? For the Stoics, it wasn't about living in the wilderness or rejecting modern life. Instead, it was about aligning yourself with the natural order of the universe, accepting its rhythms, its impermanence, and its inherent unpredictability. Think about it, nature itself is constantly changing. Seasons shift, storms pass, and rivers flow. Nothing stays the same. Yet, as humans, we often resist change, clinging to what's familiar and comfortable. We fight against the natural flow of life, and in doing so, we create unnecessary stress and frustration. The Stoics believed that by embracing this natural order, by accepting the ebb and flow of life, we could find peace and fulfillment. Consider the modern world we live in. Technology evolves at lightning speed, industries transform overnight, and personal circumstances can change in an instant. Trying to control every aspect of this rapid change is like trying to hold back the tide. It's exhausting and ultimately futile. But when we align ourselves with the natural flow of life, we learn to adapt. We become more resilient, more flexible, and less attached to outcomes. This doesn't mean we stop striving or setting goals. It means we approach life with a sense of acceptance, knowing that change is inevitable and that our power lies in how we respond to it. Here's a practical way to apply this principle. Take a moment to reflect on an area of your life where you're resisting change. Maybe it's a career shift, a relationship dynamic, or even a personal habit. Ask yourself, am I fighting against the natural flow of things? How might I feel if I let go of that resistance and embrace the change instead? By aligning with nature's laws, by accepting what you cannot control and focusing on what you can, you'll find that life becomes less of a battle and more of a journey. And in that journey, you'll discover a deeper sense of peace, purpose, and fulfillment. Desire is the root of suffering. These words, attributed to the Buddha, echo a truth the Stoics understood deeply. Unchecked desires can lead us down a path of endless dissatisfaction. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, once wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." If our thoughts are consumed by what we lack, more money, more status, more possessions, we risk staining our inner peace with discontent. This is why mastering your desires is one of the most powerful Stoic secrets to relentless success. It's not about eliminating all wants, it's about discerning which desires serve you and which hold you back. Take a moment to think about your own life. How often do you chase after things, material possessions, social validation, or even fleeting pleasures, only to find that once you have them, the satisfaction fades almost instantly? The Stoics called this the Hedonic Treadmill, the endless cycle of wanting, achieving, and wanting again. But there's a way to step off this treadmill. It starts with asking yourself a simple question. Does this desire align with my values and long-term goals? If the answer is no, it's time to let it go. Consider the example of simplifying your life. Imagine decluttering your home, not just physically but emotionally and mentally. What if, instead of chasing the latest gadgets or trends, you focused on what truly brings you joy and purpose? This isn't about living in scarcity, it's about creating space for what matters most. When you reduce the noise of unnecessary desires, you gain clarity, focus, and a deeper sense of contentment. So here's a challenge for you. Identify one desire you've been holding onto, something that deep down you know doesn't truly serve you. Maybe it's the urge to constantly compare yourself to others, or the need to accumulate more possessions than you can ever use. What would it feel like to loosen your grip on that desire, to redirect that energy towards something more meaningful? By mastering your desires, you reclaim your power and align your life with what truly matters. And in that alignment, you'll find not just success, but lasting peace. How often do your emotions cloud your judgment? We've all been there. Moments when anger, fear, or frustration take the wheel, steering us away from rational decisions and into impulsive reactions. Stoicism offers a powerful antidote to this, the practice of emotional detachment. But don't let the term mislead you. Emotional detachment isn't about becoming cold or indifferent. It's about creating a mental space between what you feel and how you respond. It's about observing your emotions without letting them control you. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher who endured slavery and hardship, taught that our emotions are not the problem, it's our attachment to them. He famously said, "It's not things that upset us, but our judgments about things." In other words, it's not the event itself that causes pain, but how we interpret it. This is where emotional detachment comes in. By stepping back and observing your emotions as if they were clouds passing in the sky, you gain the clarity to respond wisely rather than react impulsively. Let's take a practical example. Imagine you're in a heated argument with a colleague. Emotions are running high, and every word feels like a spark in a tinderbox. Instead of letting anger dictate your words, you pause. You notice the heat rising in your chest, the tension in your jaw. You acknowledge these feelings without letting them take over. This moment of detachment allows you to choose your response carefully, perhaps with calm reasoning or even silence. The situation might not change, but your approach to it does, and that makes all the difference. Here's a challenge for you. For the next 24 hours, practice observing your emotions without judgment. When frustration bubbles up in traffic, notice it. When excitement takes over during a conversation, acknowledge it. The goal isn't to suppress or ignore your feelings, but to understand them. By creating this mental space, you'll find that emotions lose their grip on you. You'll start responding to life with clarity and intention, not chaos, and that in itself is a step toward relentless success. Seneca once wrote, "Life is long if you know how to use it." At first glance, it might seem like a simple statement, but dig deeper and you'll find a profound truth. The richness of life isn't measured by the number of years we live, but by how fully we inhabit each moment. The Stoics understood this better than most. They knew that dwelling on the past or fretting about the future only robs us of the one thing we truly have, the present. Think about it. How much of your day is spent replaying old mistakes or worrying about what's to come? It's easy to get caught in this mental tug of war, but here's the problem. Neither the past nor the future is within your control. The past is gone and the future is uncertain. The only moment you can truly influence is the one you're in right now. This is why the Stoics placed such a strong emphasis on living fully in the present. It's not about ignoring the past or neglecting to plan for the future. It's about making the most of the here and now. Modern mindfulness practices echo this ancient wisdom. Techniques like meditation or simply focusing on your breath are all about grounding yourself in the present moment. They help you break free from the mental clutter of regrets and anxieties, allowing you to engage fully with what's happening right in front of you. For instance, imagine you're having a conversation with a friend. Instead of letting your mind wander to your to-do list or replaying an earlier argument, you give them your full attention. That's presence. That's where connection and meaning are born. Here's a challenge for you. Spend one day fully immersed in the present. Whether you're eating breakfast, walking to work, or having a conversation, bring your full awareness to the activity at hand. Notice the textures, the sounds, the sensations. You might be surprised by how much richer even the simplest moments feel when you're truly present. The present moment is a gift, one that's often overlooked in the rush of daily life. But when you learn to embrace it, you'll find that life becomes not just longer but fuller. And in that fullness, you'll discover a deeper sense of peace and purpose. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, often reflected on the fleeting nature of life. In his personal writings, he reminded himself, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. This wasn't a morbid thought, but a profound reminder. Everything in life is temporary. The Stoics believed that embracing this truth, accepting impermanence, was essential to living a life free from fear and unnecessary attachment. Think about it. Every relationship, every possession, every experience, none of it lasts forever. Even the most stable aspects of life are subject to change. Yet, how often do we cling to things as if they're permanent? We fear losing what we have, and that fear can hold us back, keeping us stuck in anxiety or regret. Stoicism offers a different perspective. By accepting that nothing lasts forever, we free ourselves from the weight of attachment. We learn to appreciate what we have in the moment without clinging to it. Here's an example. Imagine you're holding a glass of water. If you grip it tightly, fearing it might slip away, your hand becomes tense and the act of holding becomes exhausting. But if you hold it lightly, appreciating its presence without fear, the experience is effortless. Life works the same way. When we loosen our grip on the things we cherish, whether it's a relationship, a job, or even our own health, we find a deeper sense of peace. We stop living in fear of loss and start living in gratitude for what's here now. This doesn't mean we stop caring or striving. It means we approach life with open hands, understanding that change is inevitable. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus put it beautifully: keep death and exile before your eyes every day, along with everything that seems terrible. By doing so, you'll never have a base thought, nor will you desire anything excessively. In other words, by keeping impermanence in mind, we gain clarity about what truly matters. So, take a moment to reflect. What is something you fear losing? A loved one, your career, your sense of security. Now, ask yourself why that fear exists. Is it because you've tied your happiness to something external? When we accept that everything is temporary, we stop relying on external circumstances for our peace of mind. Instead, we find it within ourselves. This shift in perspective doesn't just reduce fear, it transforms the way we live, allowing us to embrace each moment with gratitude and grace. Discomfort is a teacher, and Stoicism teaches us to embrace it willingly. This might sound counterintuitive in a world that constantly seeks comfort and convenience, but the Stoics believed that voluntarily enduring hardship is one of the most powerful ways to build resilience, gratitude, and inner strength. Seneca, the Roman philosopher, often wrote about the value of self-imposed challenges. He advised, set aside a certain number of days during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, "Is this the condition that I feared?" In other words, by intentionally stepping into discomfort, we prepare ourselves to face life's inevitable hardships with calm and confidence. Take fasting, for example. It's not just about skipping meals, it's about training your mind to endure hunger and resist instant gratification. Or consider cold showers, a simple yet effective way to practice discomfort. That initial shock of cold water forces you to confront your aversion to discomfort, teaching you to stay calm under pressure. These small acts of voluntary discomfort might seem trivial, but they have a profound effect. They remind us that we're stronger than we think and that comfort isn't always necessary for happiness. The purpose of this practice isn't to punish yourself or to glorify suffering. It's about building mental toughness and cultivating gratitude. When you willingly step away from luxury, even briefly, you gain a deeper appreciation for the comforts you often take for granted. You also prove to yourself that you can handle challenges, which builds confidence and resilience. So, here's a challenge for you. Choose one small act of voluntary discomfort to try this week. Maybe it's skipping dessert, waking up an hour earlier, or taking a cold shower. Notice how it feels to step outside your comfort zone. Pay attention to the thoughts and emotions that arise. And when the discomfort feels overwhelming, remind yourself why you're doing it, not to suffer, but to grow. By practicing voluntary discomfort, you're not just preparing for life's challenges, you're actively transforming your mindset. You're learning to see discomfort not as an enemy, but as a teacher, one that can guide you toward greater strength, gratitude, and relentless success. Epictetus once said, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." This simple yet profound idea lies at the heart of the Stoic practice of gratitude. In a world that often pushes us to want more success, more possessions, more validation, Stoicism offers a refreshing perspective. True contentment isn't found in acquiring what we lack, but in appreciating what we already have. Gratitude, in the Stoic sense, isn't just a fleeting feeling. It's a deliberate practice, a way of rewiring our minds to focus on abundance rather than scarcity. Imagine waking up each morning and taking a moment to reflect on what you're grateful for. It could be something as simple as a warm cup of coffee, a kind word from a friend, or even the ability to take a deep breath. These small acts of recognition might seem insignificant, but over time, they have the power to shift your entire outlook. Studies have shown that practicing gratitude regularly can improve mental health, reduce stress, and even strengthen relationships. But for the Stoics, gratitude wasn't just about feeling good. It was about grounding yourself in reality, reminding yourself of the good that already exists in your life, even when challenges arise. One modern way to cultivate this practice is through keeping a gratitude journal. Each day, take a few minutes to write down 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be grand or life-changing sometimes. It's the smallest things that carry the most meaning. Over time, this habit trains your mind to seek out the positive, even in difficult moments. It's like building a mental filter that helps you see the silver linings, no matter how dark the clouds may seem. So, here's a question for you. What are 3 things you're grateful for right now? It could be something tangible, like your health or your home, or something intangible, like a moment of peace or a sense of purpose. Take a moment to reflect on these things and notice how it feels to focus on them. Gratitude isn't about ignoring life's challenges, it's about balancing them with a recognition of the good that's already here. And when you do that, you'll find that contentment isn't something you have to chase. It's something you can create moment by moment through the simple act of appreciation. How much of your happiness depends on what others think of you? It's a question worth asking, because if your sense of worth is tied to someone else's approval, you're giving away your power. The Stoics understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, wrote, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinions than our own." Think about that for a moment. We're quick to prioritize how others see us, often at the expense of our own peace and authenticity. But here's the truth: external validation is fleeting, and relying on it is like building your house on sand. The Stoic solution is simple yet profound. Find your self-worth within yourself. This doesn't mean ignoring feedback or living in isolation. It means recognizing that your value isn't determined by likes, comments, or the approval of others. It's about cultivating an internal compass, a sense of purpose and confidence that isn't swayed by external opinions. Consider the story of Harriet Tubman, the courageous abolitionist who risked her life to lead enslaved people to freedom. She didn't wait for society's approval or validation. In fact, many people of her time criticized and doubted her, but she stayed focused on her mission, guided by an unshakable sense of purpose. Her strength came from within, and that's what allowed her to achieve what others thought was impossible. Here's the challenge. Take a moment to reflect on one area of your life where you seek external validation. Is it in your career, your relationships, or maybe even your social media presence? Now ask yourself, what would it feel like to let go of that need for approval? To base your decisions and sense of worth on your own values and goals. It's not easy, but it's liberating. When you stop chasing validation, you free yourself to live authentically and pursue what truly matters to you. Letting go of external validation isn't about rejecting others. It's about reclaiming yourself. It's about realizing that your worth isn't something others can give or take away. It's something you carry within. And when you embrace that truth, you'll find a level of freedom and confidence that no amount of praise or criticism can shake. Every obstacle is a chance to grow. That's not just a motivational saying, it's a core principle of Stoic philosophy. The Stoics believed that challenges aren't roadblocks, they're stepping stones. Epictetus, who faced slavery and exile, famously said, "Difficulties are things that show a person what they are." In other words, adversity doesn't break us, it reveals us. It's in the face of hardship that we discover our true strength, resilience, and creativity. Take the story of Helen Keller. Born deaf and blind, she faced unimaginable obstacles. Yet, instead of letting her limitations define her, she used them as fuel to achieve extraordinary things. She became a renowned author, activist, and inspiration to millions. Her life is a testament to the Stoic idea that obstacles aren't just things to endure, they're opportunities to rise above. So, how can you apply this mindset to your own life? Start by reframing your challenges. Instead of seeing a problem as something to avoid, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this make me stronger or more resourceful? Let's say you're struggling with a difficult project at work. Instead of feeling overwhelmed, you could view it as a chance to develop new skills or prove your capability. The obstacle itself hasn't changed, but your perspective has, and that shift can transform frustration into motivation. Here's a thought experiment. Think about a challenge you're facing right now. Maybe it's a personal setback, a professional hurdle, or even a relationship struggle. Now, imagine that this obstacle is here to teach you something. What could it be? Patience, persistence, creativity. By reframing the challenge as an opportunity, you take the first step toward turning adversity into advantage. The next time you face an obstacle, remember, it's not just a test of your patience, it's an invitation to grow. And when you embrace that mindset, you'll find that every challenge becomes a chance to become the best version of yourself. Seneca once wrote, "Each day, acquire something that will fortify you against poverty, against death, indeed against other misfortunes as well." What he's describing here is the transformative power of self-reflection, a practice the Stoics considered essential for personal growth. Self-reflection isn't just about looking back at your day. It's about examining your thoughts, actions, and choices with honesty and purpose. It's a tool for understanding yourself better, refining your character, and making wiser decisions moving forward. The Stoics believed that without self-reflection, we risk living on autopilot, repeating the same mistakes and missing opportunities for growth. Marcus Aurelius, for example, kept a journal, what we now know as meditations, where he reflected on his daily experiences, his virtues, and his shortcomings. This wasn't just a diary, it was a deliberate practice of self-improvement. By reviewing his actions, he could identify patterns, learn from his mistakes, and align his behavior with his values. So, how can you put this into practice? One of the most effective methods is journaling. At the end of each day, take a few minutes to write down what went well, what didn't, and what you could do differently tomorrow. It's not about dwelling on regrets, it's about gaining clarity and perspective. Another approach is meditation, specifically what the Stoics called evening reflection. This involves sitting quietly, replaying your day in your mind, and asking yourself questions like, did I act in alignment with my values? Where did I fall short? How can I do better tomorrow? Consider the story of Oprah Winfrey, who credits much of her success to her daily practice of journaling and self-reflection. She's spoken openly about how this habit helped her navigate challenges, stay grounded, and remain true to her purpose. It's a modern example of how the Stoic practice of reflection can lead to profound transformation. Here's a challenge for you. Tonight, spend just 10 minutes reflecting on your day. Grab a notebook or simply sit quietly and think. Ask yourself, what did I learn today? How did I grow? What could I improve? These simple questions can open the door to deeper self-awareness and intentional living. Self-reflection is more than a habit, it's a gift you give yourself. It's the space where you pause, assess, and realign with what truly matters. And in that space, you'll find the clarity and strength to move forward with purpose. How much of what you own do you truly need? It's a question worth asking, especially in a world that constantly tells us more is better. The Stoics, however, had a different perspective. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." This idea that simplicity is the key to freedom lies at the heart of Stoic philosophy. It's not about rejecting all material possessions, but about recognizing when they start to weigh us down, both physically and mentally. Think about it. When your life is cluttered with unnecessary belongings, obligations, or distractions, it becomes harder to focus on what truly matters. The more you accumulate, the more you have to maintain, organize, and worry about. It's like carrying a heavy backpack everywhere you go. Eventually, it slows you down. The Stoics believed that by simplifying your life, you free up mental and emotional space to focus on your values, relationships, and personal growth. Take the concept of minimalism, for example. It's not just about having fewer things, it's about making room for what adds real value to your life. Imagine decluttering your home, letting go of items you no longer use or need. The physical act of clearing space can feel liberating, but the mental clarity that comes with it is even more powerful. Suddenly, you have more time, energy, and attention to devote to the things that truly matter. Whether it's spending time with loved ones, pursuing a passion, or simply enjoying moments of peace. Here's a challenge for you. Identify one area of your life where you can simplify. Maybe it's your wardrobe, your schedule, or even your digital clutter. What's one thing you can let go of today to create more space for what truly matters? It doesn't have to be a drastic change. Small steps can lead to big shifts over time. Simplification isn't about deprivation, it's about alignment. It's about stripping away the excess so you can focus on what brings you joy, purpose, and fulfillment. And when you do that, you'll find that life feels lighter, freer, and more meaningful. So, what's one thing you're ready to simplify? Marcus Aurelius, one of history's most renowned Stoic thinkers, began each day with a simple yet powerful ritual. Before the sun rose, he would sit in quiet reflection, preparing his mind for the challenges ahead. He wrote in Meditations, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." This wasn't just a poetic sentiment, it was a deliberate practice. By starting his day with intention, he set the tone for clarity, focus, and resilience. The Stoics understood that mornings are a sacred time, a blank slate where you can shape your mindset before the chaos of the day begins. A morning routine isn't just about productivity. It's about grounding yourself in your values and preparing to face whatever comes your way with calm and purpose. Think of it as sharpening your mental tools before stepping into the arena of life. So, what does a Stoic-inspired morning routine look like? It doesn't have to be complicated. Start with a few minutes of meditation or deep breathing to center your mind. This isn't about emptying your thoughts, but about observing them without judgment, setting the stage for intentional action. Next, consider journaling. Take a page from Marcus Aurelius and reflect on your goals, your values, and the challenges you might face. Write down one thing you're grateful for and one intention for the day. This simple act can shift your mindset from reactive to proactive. For a modern example, consider Tim Ferriss, the author and entrepreneur known for his meticulous morning routine. He combines meditation, journaling, and physical exercise to create a foundation of mental and physical readiness. While your routine doesn't need to mirror his, the principle remains the same. Start your day with practices that align you with your purpose. Here's a challenge for you. Over the next week, experiment with creating your own Stoic-inspired morning routine. It doesn't have to be long, even 10 minutes can make a difference. Choose activities that resonate with you, whether it's a quiet moment with a cup of tea, a brief walk in nature, or a few pages of reflective writing. The key is consistency and intention. By developing a morning routine, you're not just setting yourself up for a productive day, you're building a habit of mindfulness and resilience. It's a small investment of time that pays dividends in clarity, focus, and peace of mind. So, what will your mornings look like when you start them with purpose? Seneca once said, "We must give ourselves time to be still, to be silent, and to reflect, for it is in these moments that we truly understand ourselves." In a world that never stops buzzing, where notifications, deadlines, and endless chatter demand our attention, silence and solitude can feel like rare luxuries. But for the Stoics, they weren't luxuries, they were necessities. They understood that stepping away from the noise isn't about escaping life, it's about reconnecting with what truly matters. Silence in the Stoic sense isn't just the absence of sound, it's the space where clarity and self-awareness grow. When you remove the distractions, the constant stream of information, opinions, and demands, you create room to hear your own thoughts. It's like clearing the fog from a mirror. Suddenly, you can see yourself more clearly. This is why the Stoics valued solitude so deeply. It wasn't about isolation or withdrawal. It was about creating a sanctuary where you could reflect, recharge, and realign with your values. Take the example of Nelson Mandela. During his 27 years in prison, much of it spent in solitary confinement, he found a profound sense of inner peace through silence and reflection. Instead of letting the isolation break him, he used it to strengthen his resolve and deepen his understanding of himself and his purpose. That's the power of solitude. It doesn't just help you survive, it helps you thrive, even in the most challenging circumstances. In today's hyper-connected world, unplugging can feel uncomfortable at first. We're so used to being constantly stimulated that silence can feel unsettling. But that's exactly why it's so valuable. When you step away from the noise, even for a short time, you give yourself permission to slow down, to breathe, and to simply be. It's in these moments that you can process your emotions, gain perspective, and find solutions to problems that seemed overwhelming. So, here's a challenge for you today. Carve out just 30 minutes of silence. Turn off your phone, step away from your screens, and find a quiet space. You don't need to meditate or journal unless you want to simply sit in stillness. Notice what thoughts arise. Pay attention to how your body feels. You might be surprised by what you discover when you allow yourself the gift of silence. Silence and solitude aren't just practices, they're invitations to reconnect with yourself and the world around you. And in that reconnection, you'll find a deeper sense of peace, clarity, and purpose. So take a moment today to step away from the noise, because sometimes the most profound insights come when you stop and listen. Virtue is the only true good. That's not just a philosophical idea, it's the foundation of Stoic ethics. The Stoics believed that living a virtuous life, one guided by wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline, is the ultimate path to fulfillment. Everything else, wealth, fame, power, are what they called indifference. They're not inherently good or bad. Their value depends on how they're used. But virtue is the compass that guides us through life's storms, helping us make choices that align with our highest principles. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher who rose from slavery to become one of history's most influential thinkers, put it this way: wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. In other words, true richness isn't found in material abundance, but in the integrity of your character. For the Stoics, virtue wasn't just a lofty ideal, it was a daily practice. It's about choosing honesty over deceit, courage over fear, and kindness over indifference, even when it's hard. Consider the life of Mahatma Gandhi. He could have pursued wealth or political power, but instead he dedicated himself to a life of virtue, non-violence, truth, and service to others. His commitment to these principles not only transformed his own life, but also inspired millions and changed the course of history. Gandhi's example shows us that when we prioritize virtue, we tap into a deeper sense of purpose and fulfillment that no amount of external success can match. So, what does this mean for you? Take a moment to reflect on your own values. What virtues do you hold most dear? Is it honesty, compassion, perseverance, or something else? And more importantly, how are you living those virtues in your daily life? The Stoics remind us that virtue isn't just something we admire, it's something we practice moment by moment, decision by decision. When you make virtue your guiding star, you'll find that the rest falls into place. Challenges become opportunities to grow, relationships deepen, and even when external circumstances are uncertain, your inner compass remains steady. Virtue, after all, is the one thing no one can take away from you. It's the only true good, and it's within your reach starting today. How much energy do you waste resisting the inevitable? Think about it. How often do you find yourself frustrated, angry, or anxious because life didn't go the way you wanted? The Stoics had a radical yet liberating answer to this: accept what you cannot change. This isn't about giving up or being passive. It's about redirecting your energy toward what truly matters. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, wrote, "Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart." In other words, life will throw curveballs, some within your control, others not. The key to peace lies in knowing the difference. Let's break this down with an example. Imagine you're caught in a sudden downpour without an umbrella. You could curse the rain, complain about your soaked clothes, and let frustration ruin your mood. Or you could accept the rain as something beyond your control and focus on what you can do, like finding shelter, enjoying the sound of the rain, or even laughing at the situation. The rain hasn't changed, but your response has, and that shift, it's everything. This principle isn't just about small inconveniences, it applies to life's biggest challenges too. Take the story of Viktor Frankl, the Holocaust survivor and author of Man's Search for Meaning. In the face of unimaginable suffering, Frankl realized that while he couldn't change his circumstances, he could choose how he responded to them. This acceptance didn't erase his pain, but it gave him a sense of agency and purpose even in the darkest moments. His story shows us that acceptance isn't resignation, it's empowerment. So here's a challenge for you. Identify one thing in your life that you've been resisting. Maybe it's a health issue, a relationship dynamic, or even a global event you can't control. Ask yourself, how much energy am I spending trying to fight this? What would it feel like to let go of that resistance and focus instead on what I can influence? When you stop battling the unchangeable, you free up mental and emotional space to focus on what truly matters. You stop being a victim of circumstance and start becoming the architect of your own peace. And in that peace, you'll find a strength that no storm can shake. Seneca once wrote, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness." These words remind us that kindness isn't just a virtue, it's a practice, a choice we make every day. Stoicism, often seen as a philosophy of resilience and self-discipline, also places immense value on compassion. It teaches that treating others with empathy and understanding isn't just good for them, it's good for you. Kindness, in the Stoic view, isn't a weakness, it's a strength, a way to cultivate inner peace while making the world a little better. Think about it, when you approach others with genuine care, you create a ripple effect. Acts of kindness don't just brighten someone else's day, they also shift your own mindset. They remind you of your connection to others, helping you break free from isolation or self-centeredness. Marcus Aurelius put it beautifully, "What injures the hive injures the bee." In other words, we're all part of a larger whole, and when we act with compassion, we strengthen not just others but ourselves. Take the story of Fred Rogers, the beloved host of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. He dedicated his life to teaching children and adults the power of kindness and empathy. His gentle, compassionate approach wasn't just about making people feel good. It was about showing them how to live with purpose and love. Rogers once said, "There are 3 ways to ultimate success. The first way is to be kind. The second way is to be kind. The third way is to be kind." Through his actions, he demonstrated that kindness isn't just a gesture, it's a way of life. So, what does kindness look like in practice? It doesn't have to be grand or dramatic. It could be as simple as listening to a friend without judgment, offering a smile to a stranger, or helping someone carry their groceries. These small acts might seem insignificant, but they carry profound weight. They remind us of our shared humanity and the impact we can have even in the smallest moments. Here's a challenge for you today: perform 1 act of kindness. It doesn't have to be planned or elaborate, just something genuine and heartfelt. Notice how it makes you feel. Does it shift your mood? Does it change the way you see the people around you? Kindness isn't just about giving, it's about connecting, and in that connection you'll find a deeper sense of peace and fulfillment. In a world that often feels divided, kindness is the bridge that brings us together. It's a reminder that no matter how different we may seem, we're all walking the same path, facing the same struggles. And when we choose to walk that path with compassion, we not only uplift others, we elevate ourselves. Anger is a temporary madness, a fire that burns within us, consuming clarity and peace. The Stoics understood this all too well. They saw anger not as a natural response, but as a choice, one that often leads to regret rather than resolution. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher who endured enslavement and hardship, put it bluntly: "Any person capable of angering you becomes your master." Think about that for a moment. When you let anger take over, you're giving someone else control over your emotions, your actions, and ultimately your life. The Stoic approach to anger isn't about suppressing it, it's about disarming it with reason and perspective. Take the story of Nelson Mandela. After spending 27 years in prison, he emerged not with bitterness or vengeance, but with a profound sense of forgiveness and purpose. Mandela understood that holding on to anger would only imprison him further. Instead, he chose to channel his pain into building a better future for his country. His ability to rise above anger wasn't just a personal triumph, it was a lesson in the power of perspective. Mandela saw anger as a distraction, something that would only cloud his vision and hinder his mission. And in letting it go, he found freedom. The Stoics believed that anger stems from unmet expectations. When reality doesn't align with what we want or believe should happen, frustration builds. But here's the thing, reality doesn't owe us anything, it simply is. By accepting this truth, we can begin to see anger for what it truly is: a reaction, not a solution. When you feel anger rising, pause. Ask yourself, what am I really upset about? Is this worth my energy? What can I control in this situation? These questions create a mental buffer, giving you the space to respond with clarity rather than react with chaos. Here's a challenge for you. Think back to a recent moment when you felt angry. Maybe it was a rude comment, a missed opportunity, or a frustrating delay. How did you respond? Did anger help you resolve the situation, or did it make things worse? Now, imagine how you might handle it differently. Could you have approached it with curiosity instead of frustration? Could you have chosen to let it go, knowing that holding onto anger only harms you in the end? Letting go of anger doesn't mean ignoring injustice or avoiding conflict. It means approaching life with a calm mind and an open heart, ready to face challenges with reason rather than rage. When you master this skill, you'll find that anger loses its grip on you, and in its place, you'll discover a deeper sense of peace and control. Because in the end, the greatest victory isn't over others, it's over yourself. Even as one of the most powerful men in history, Marcus Aurelius never let his position define him. Despite ruling the Roman Empire, he saw himself as a student of life, constantly reflecting on his own limitations and striving to improve. In Meditations, he wrote, "You could leave life right now." Let that determine what you do, say, and think. This wasn't just a reminder of life's fleeting nature, it was a call to humility. Aurelius understood that no matter how high you rise, you're still human, fallible, imperfect, and always capable of growth. The Stoics believed that humility is the gateway to wisdom. When you approach life with a humble mindset, you open yourself to learning, to feedback, and to the possibility of being wrong. Arrogance, on the other hand, blinds you. It creates a false sense of superiority, cutting you off from opportunities to grow. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca warned, the greatest obstacle to learning is thinking you already know everything. Humility, then, isn't about diminishing yourself, it's about recognizing that there's always more to learn, more to understand, and more to become. Take the example of Albert Einstein, a man whose brilliance reshaped our understanding of the universe. Despite his monumental achievements, Einstein remained remarkably humble. He once said, "The more I learn, the more I realize how much I don't know." This mindset fueled his curiosity and kept him grounded, even as the world celebrated his genius. His humility wasn't a weakness, it was the foundation of his greatness. So, what does humility look like in your own life? It could mean admitting when you're wrong, even when it's uncomfortable. It might involve listening more than you speak, especially in moments of disagreement. Or perhaps it's about acknowledging the contributions of others, even when you're in the spotlight. Humility isn't about shrinking yourself, it's about expanding your perspective. Here's a challenge for you. Identify one area where you can practice humility today. Maybe it's in your work, your relationships, or even your personal goals. Where do you feel the pull of pride or defensiveness? How might letting go of that pride open the door to growth? Humility is a daily practice, a choice to see yourself clearly and to embrace the endless journey of becoming. And when you do, you'll find that it's not just a virtue, it's a superpower. Do you judge yourself by your efforts or your results? It's a question worth asking, because how we answer it can shape not just our success but our peace of mind. The Stoics had a simple yet profound perspective. We can only control our actions, not the outcomes. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher who rose from slavery to become one of history's greatest thinkers, put it this way: make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. In other words, focus on what you can do and let go of what you can't control. Think about it when you pour your energy into an outcome. Whether it's winning a competition, landing a job, or achieving a goal, you're tying your happiness to something outside your control. If the result doesn't go your way, you feel disappointment, frustration, or even failure. But when you shift your focus to the effort itself, the preparation, the discipline, the dedication, you reclaim your power. You realize that success isn't just about the destination, it's about the journey. Take the story of Michael Jordan, widely regarded as one of the greatest basketball players of all time. What many people don't know is that he was cut from his high school basketball team. But instead of giving up, Jordan doubled down on his effort. He practiced relentlessly, honing his skills and pushing his limits. He didn't focus on whether he'd make the team next year or win championships someday. He focused on becoming better, one day at a time. That mindset, that commitment to effort over outcomes, is what ultimately led to his legendary success. So, here's a question for you. Where in your life are you fixating on results instead of effort? Are you judging yourself by the number on the scale, the size of your paycheck, or the opinions of others? What would it feel like to shift your focus to what you can control? Your preparation, your persistence, your attitude. The Stoics remind us that effort is where true power lies. It's the one thing no one can take away from you. Whether you succeed or fail, your effort is yours to own. And when you embrace that mindset, you'll find that even in the face of setbacks, you're unstoppable. So the next time you set a goal, ask yourself, am I focusing on what I can control? Am I giving my best effort regardless of the outcome? Because in the end, that's where greatness is born. Seneca once wrote, "Change is the only constant in life. To resist it is to suffer, to embrace it is to thrive." These words, spoken over 2,000 years ago, hold a truth that's just as relevant today. Change is inevitable, whether it's in our careers, relationships, or even the world around us. The Stoics understood that clinging to what's familiar and predictable only leads to frustration and pain. Instead, they taught us to see change not as a threat, but as an opportunity for growth and renewal. Think about it. How often do we resist change because it feels uncomfortable or uncertain? Maybe it's a career shift, a move to a new city, or even a change in a long-held belief. We dig our heels in, hoping things will stay the same, but life rarely works that way. The Stoic perspective is clear. Change isn't just something to endure, it's something to welcome. Why? Because it's through change that we evolve, adapt, and discover new strengths we never knew we had. Consider the story of Steve Jobs. After being ousted from Apple, the company he co-founded, Jobs could have let bitterness and resistance define him. Instead, he embraced the change. He founded NeXT, acquired Pixar, and ultimately returned to Apple with a fresh vision that revolutionized the tech world. Jobs didn't just adapt to change, he used it as a springboard for innovation. His story is a testament to the Stoic idea that change, no matter how challenging, can be a catalyst for greatness. So, what about you? What's a change in your life that you've been resisting? Maybe it's a shift in your career, a personal relationship, or even a habit you know you need to break. Take a moment to reflect. What's holding you back? Is it fear of the unknown or a desire to stay comfortable? Now, imagine how you might feel if you embraced that change instead. What new possibilities could it open up? The Stoics remind us that change isn't the enemy, it's the very essence of life. When we stop fighting it and start flowing with it, we unlock a deeper sense of resilience and peace. So the next time change knocks on your door, don't shut it out. Open it wide and see where it leads, because on the other side of change, you just might find a better version of yourself. Patience is the companion of wisdom. This bold statement, often attributed to the Stoics, captures a profound truth. Patience isn't just about waiting, it's about how you wait. It's the ability to remain calm, focused, and purposeful, even when things don't go as planned. For the Stoics, patience wasn't a passive virtue. It was a powerful tool for making better decisions, building resilience, and achieving long-term success. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, put it this way: be like the cliff against which the waves continually break. It stands firm and tames the fury of the water around it. In other words, patience is strength in stillness. It's the ability to endure delays, setbacks, and frustrations without losing your composure or your sense of direction. Consider the story of Thomas Edison, the inventor of the light bulb. It took him thousands of failed attempts before he finally succeeded. But Edison didn't see those failures as wasted time. He saw them as steps toward discovery. He famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Edison's patience wasn't just about persistence, it was about perspective. He understood that true progress often comes slowly, and that every setback is an opportunity to learn and grow. His story is a testament to the Stoic belief that patience isn't just a virtue, it's a strategy for achieving greatness. So, where in your life could you use more patience? Is it in your career, where you're working toward a promotion or launching a new project? Or maybe it's in your personal life, where you're navigating a challenging relationship or waiting for a long-held dream to come to fruition. Take a moment to reflect. How do you handle delays or setbacks? Do you lose your temper, or do you take a deep breath and keep moving forward? The Stoics remind us that patience isn't about ignoring frustration, it's about choosing to rise above it. It's about trusting the process even when the results aren't immediate. Think of patience as a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it becomes. Start small. The next time you're stuck in traffic, instead of letting frustration take over, use that time to listen to an audiobook or reflect on your goals. When a project at work hits a snag, pause and ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this delay to improve my approach? By practicing patience in these everyday moments, you'll build the resilience and clarity you need to tackle life's bigger challenges. Patience in the Stoic sense isn't about sitting back and doing nothing. It's about moving forward with purpose even when progress feels slow. It's about understanding that the best things in life, the ones worth waiting for, often take time. So, the next time you feel the urge to rush or give up, remember, patience isn't just a virtue, it's your ally in the pursuit of wisdom and success. What would you do if you weren't afraid? It's a question that cuts straight to the heart of what holds so many of us back. Fear, whether it's fear of failure, fear of judgment, or fear of the unknown, has a way of shrinking our world and limiting our potential. But here's the Stoic perspective. Fear isn't something to avoid or suppress. It's something to face head-on. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher who overcame immense adversity, put it simply, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. In other words, fear only has power over you if you let it. The Stoics believed that fear is rooted in the unknown. We fear what we can't control, what we can't predict, or what we don't fully understand. But the antidote to fear isn't certainty, it's courage. Courage, in the Stoic sense, isn't the absence of fear, it's the willingness to act despite it. It's about using reason to break down your fears, to see them for what they truly are, and to move forward anyway. Take the story of Rosa Parks, whose quiet defiance in the face of fear changed the course of history. When she refused to give up her seat on a segregated bus, she wasn't free from fear. She was simply more committed to justice than she was afraid of the consequences. Her courage didn't come from ignoring her fear, it came from acknowledging it and choosing to act despite it. Park's story reminds us that fear doesn't have to be a barrier. It can be a catalyst for action, a signal that we're stepping into something meaningful. So, what's one fear holding you back? Maybe it's fear of failure, fear of rejection, or fear of stepping outside your comfort zone. Take a moment to reflect. What would your life look like if you weren't afraid? What opportunities would you pursue? What dreams would you chase? The Stoics encourage us to confront our fears, not with reckless abandon, but with clarity and purpose. Here's a practical exercise. Write down one fear that's been holding you back. Then ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen if I face this fear? How likely is that outcome? And most importantly, what's the best that could happen? By breaking your fear down into manageable pieces, you strip away its power. You see it for what it truly is, an obstacle, not a dead end. Letting go of fear isn't about becoming fearless. It's about becoming fearless enough to take the next step. It's about recognizing that fear is a part of life, but it doesn't have to define your life. So take a deep breath, face your fear, and move forward. Because on the other side of fear, you'll find freedom, growth, and the life you are meant to live. Seneca once said, "No one can live happily who has regard for himself alone." These words remind us of a profound truth. Generosity isn't just about giving to others, it's about enriching your own life. Stoicism, often associated with self-discipline and resilience, also places a deep emphasis on compassion and community. The Stoics believed that true fulfillment comes not from what we accumulate, but from what we contribute. Generosity, in their view, is a powerful way to connect with others, cultivate gratitude, and find meaning in the world around us. Think about it. When you give your time, resources, or even a kind word, you're not just helping someone else, you're also strengthening your own sense of purpose. Studies show that acts of generosity release oxytocin, often called the love hormone, which boosts feelings of happiness and connection. But beyond the science, there's something deeply human about giving. It reminds us that we're part of something bigger, that our actions can make a difference, no matter how small. Take the story of Oprah Winfrey, who has donated millions to education and humanitarian causes. For her, generosity isn't just about writing checks, it's about creating opportunities for others to thrive. She's spoken about how giving has brought her a sense of fulfillment that fame and wealth alone never could. Oprah's example shows us that generosity isn't limited by the size of your bank account. It's about the intention behind your actions. Whether it's mentoring someone, volunteering your time, or simply offering a listening ear, every act of generosity has the power to transform lives, including your own. So, what's one generous act you can perform today? It doesn't have to be grand or expensive. It could be as simple as holding the door for someone, paying for a stranger's coffee, or sending a thoughtful message to a friend. The key is to do it with intention, to give without expecting anything in return. Notice how it makes you feel. Does it shift your perspective? Does it deepen your connection to the people around you? Generosity, in the Stoic sense, isn't just a virtue, it's a practice. It's a way to align your actions with your values and to create ripples of kindness in the world. And when you do that, you'll find that the joy of giving isn't just for the recipient, it's for you too. So take a moment today to give something of yourself. Because in the end, the more you give, the richer your life becomes. Most of what we worry about doesn't matter. Let that sink in for a moment. How much of your time and energy is spent on things that, in the grand scheme of life, are trivial? The Stoics had a name for this, the tyranny of the trivial. It's when we let small, insignificant concerns dominate our thoughts and actions, leaving little room for what truly matters. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, put it bluntly, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. His words are a stark reminder. Life is short, and the things that consume our attention today might not even matter tomorrow. The Stoic approach is clear. Focus on what's essential and let go of the rest. This doesn't mean ignoring responsibilities or avoiding challenges. It means discerning between what's truly important and what's merely noise. Think of it like editing a cluttered room. You don't throw out everything, you keep what adds value and remove what doesn't. The same applies to your priorities. When you strip away the distractions, you create space for what truly enriches your life. Consider the story of Steve Jobs, who famously wore the same black turtleneck and jeans every day. This wasn't just a fashion choice, it was a deliberate effort to simplify his life. By removing the need to decide what to wear, Jobs freed up mental energy to focus on his work and vision. His example shows us that simplifying priorities isn't about doing less, it's about doing what matters most. So, what does this mean for you? Take a moment to reflect on your own life. What are you spending your time and energy on? Are these things aligned with your values and long-term goals, or are they distractions pulling you away from what truly matters? The Stoics believed that clarity about your priorities is the foundation of a meaningful life. It's not about doing more, it's about doing what's right. Here's a challenge. Write down your top 3 priorities, the things that matter most to you. Then, look at how you're spending your time. Are your actions aligned with those priorities? If not, what can you let go of to create more space for what truly matters? Remember, life is too short to waste on the trivial. Focus on what's essential, and you'll find not just success, but a deeper sense of purpose and fulfillment. Seneca, one of Stoicism's most profound voices, once said, "Anger, if not restrained, is frequently more hurtful to us than the injury that provokes it." These words capture a truth that's as relevant today as it was in ancient Rome. Holding on to anger and resentment doesn't punish the person who wronged you, it punishes you. The Stoics believed that forgiveness isn't just an act of kindness toward others, it's a gift to yourself. It's about freeing your mind from the weight of bitterness so you can move forward with clarity and peace. Think about it. When you hold a grudge, who suffers the most? The person who wronged you might not even be aware of your feelings, but you're the one carrying the emotional burden. Resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to get sick. It drains your energy, clouds your judgment, and keeps you stuck in the past. Forgiveness, on the other hand, is the antidote. It's not about excusing someone's behavior or pretending it didn't hurt. It's about choosing to release the grip that pain has on you. Take the story of Nelson Mandela, who spent 27 years imprisoned under apartheid. When he was finally released, he didn't seek revenge or hold onto hatred. Instead, he chose forgiveness, saying, "As I walked out the door toward the gate that would lead to my freedom, I knew if I didn't leave my bitterness and hatred behind, I'd still be in prison." Mandela's ability to forgive wasn't just a personal triumph, it was a key to healing an entire nation. His story shows us that forgiveness isn't a sign of weakness, it's a testament to strength and resilience. So, what about you? Is there someone in your life, a friend, a family member, or even yourself, that you need to forgive? Take a moment to reflect. How has holding onto that grudge affected you? Has it brought you peace, or has it only added to your pain? Forgiveness doesn't mean you have to reconcile with the person or forget what happened. It simply means choosing to let go of the resentment so you can reclaim your peace of mind. Here's a challenge for you. Identify one person you need to forgive. It could be someone who hurt you deeply, or even a small grievance that's been lingering in your mind. Write their name down and then ask yourself, what would it feel like to release this burden? How might your life change if you chose to let go of the anger and move forward? Forgiveness isn't always easy, but it's always worth it, because in the end, it's not about them, it's about you. And when you choose to forgive, you open the door to a life of greater peace, clarity, and freedom. Failure is not the opposite of success, it's part of it. This might sound counterintuitive, especially in a world that often shames mistakes and glorifies perfection. But the Stoics saw failure differently. They viewed it as one of life's greatest teachers. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher who rose from slavery to become a beacon of wisdom, put it this way: difficulties are things that show a person what they are. In other words, failure doesn't define you, it reveals you. It strips away the illusions, forcing you to confront your strengths, weaknesses, and true potential. Take the story of J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series. Before becoming one of the most successful writers in history, Rowling faced countless rejections. Publishers turned her down and she struggled to make ends meet as a single mother. But instead of letting failure defeat her, she used it as fuel. Each rejection taught her resilience. Each setback sharpened her determination, and in the end, her persistence paid off in ways she could never have imagined. Rowling's story is a testament to the Stoic idea that failure isn't an endpoint, it's a stepping stone. So, what does this mean for you? Think about a recent failure in your own life. Maybe it was a project that didn't go as planned, a goal you didn't achieve, or a mistake you wish you could undo. Instead of dwelling on the disappointment, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What strengths did I discover in the process? How can this experience make me better, stronger, or more prepared for the next challenge? The Stoics remind us that failure isn't something to fear or avoid. It's an essential part of growth, a natural byproduct of taking risks and striving for something meaningful. Every great achievement is built on a foundation of lessons learned through failure. So the next time you stumble, don't see it as a defeat, see it as an opportunity. Because in every failure, there's a lesson waiting to be learned, and in every lesson, there's a step closer to success. How often do you give up when results don't come quickly? It's a question worth asking because, let's face it, consistency isn't always easy. In a world that celebrates instant gratification, sticking to something day after day, especially when progress feels slow, can feel like swimming against the tide. But here's the thing, the Stoics knew that true success isn't about quick wins or overnight transformations. It's about showing up day after day with unwavering effort. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor, put it this way: what stands in the way becomes the way. In other words, the challenges that test your consistency are the very things that build your strength and resilience. Think about the power of small, daily actions. A single workout won't transform your health, but a year of consistent exercise will. Writing one page of a book won't make you an author, but writing a little every day will. The Stoics believed that consistency isn't just a habit, it's a mindset. It's the understanding that every effort, no matter how small, adds up over time. It's about focusing on the process rather than the outcome, trusting that your dedication will bear fruit when the time is right. Consider the story of Maya Angelou, the celebrated poet and author. She faced countless rejections early in her career, but she didn't let that stop her. Instead, she committed to her craft, writing consistently even when success seemed out of reach. Over time, her persistence paid off, and she became one of the most influential voices of her generation. Angelou's journey is a testament to the Stoic belief that greatness isn't born from sporadic bursts of effort, it's forged through daily commitment. So, what's one habit you can commit to consistently? Maybe it's reading for 15 minutes a day, meditating each morning, or dedicating time to a creative project. The key isn't to aim for perfection or immediate results, it's to show up, even on the days when motivation feels out of reach. Start small, but start now. Because every time you choose consistency over convenience, you're building the foundation for lasting success. Consistency isn't glamorous, but it's transformative. It's the quiet, steady force that turns effort into achievement and dreams into reality. So, take a moment to reflect. What's one area of your life where you can practice consistency today? Remember, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and every step you take with purpose brings you closer to your destination. Seneca once warned, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." This insight captures a truth many of us know all too well. The pursuit of perfection is often more painful than the reality of imperfection. The Stoics understood that striving for flawlessness isn't just unrealistic, it's counterproductive. Progress, not perfection, is the true measure of growth. After all, life is messy, unpredictable, and full of setbacks. Trying to control every detail or achieve an impossible standard only leads to frustration, burnout, and missed opportunities. Perfectionism, in the Stoic view, is a form of resistance. It keeps us stuck in analysis paralysis, endlessly preparing but never taking action. It convinces us that unless everything is just right, it's not worth starting at all. But here's the truth: done is better than perfect. The act of trying, failing, and learning is where real growth happens. It's through imperfection that we discover resilience, creativity, and the courage to keep going. Take the story of Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx. When she first started her company, she had no experience in fashion or business. She made countless mistakes, from designing prototypes in her apartment to pitching her product with no formal training. But instead of letting fear of imperfection stop her, she embraced the process. She focused on progress, not perfection, and today, Spanx is a billion-dollar brand. Blakely's story shows us that success isn't about getting everything right. It's about being willing to try, fail, and improve along the way. So, where in your life are you holding yourself to an impossible standard? Is it in your work, your relationships, or even your personal goals? Take a moment to reflect. What would it feel like to let go of perfectionism, even just a little? What could you achieve if you gave yourself permission to be imperfect? The Stoics remind us that life is a journey, not a destination. It's about showing up, doing your best, and learning from every step, even the missteps. When you release the need for perfection, you open yourself to growth, creativity, and the freedom to truly thrive. So, the next time you feel the weight of perfectionism, remember, progress is enough. Imperfection isn't failure, it's the pathway to becoming your best self. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, faced his fears head-on, even as he led an empire through war, political turmoil, and personal loss. In his writings, he reminded himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." For Aurelius, courage wasn't the absence of fear, it was the willingness to act despite it. This is the essence of Stoic courage, recognizing that fear is a natural part of life, but refusing to let it dictate your actions. The Stoics believed that courage is the gateway to growth. Without it, we remain stuck in our comfort zones, avoiding risks and missing opportunities. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher who endured slavery and hardship, put it plainly: it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. In other words, courage isn't about controlling the outcome, it's about taking the first step, even when the path ahead is uncertain. Consider the story of Malala Yousafzai, the young activist who stood up for girls' education in the face of extreme danger. Shot by the Taliban for her advocacy, she didn't let fear silence her. Instead, she used her voice to inspire millions, becoming the youngest ever Nobel Prize laureate. Malala's courage didn't come from a lack of fear, it came from a deep sense of purpose. She chose to act even when the stakes were life and death. So, what about you? Where in your life do you need more courage? Maybe it's starting a new career, speaking your truth in a difficult relationship, or simply stepping outside your comfort zone. Take a moment to reflect. What's one fear holding you back? What would it feel like to face it head-on? The Stoics remind us that courage isn't about being fearless, it's about being brave enough to take the next step. It's about trusting that, even if things don't go as planned, you'll emerge stronger and wiser. So, take a deep breath, identify that one area where you need more courage, and take the first step. Because on the other side of fear, you'll find the life you are meant to live. A life without purpose is a life wasted. These words might sound harsh, but they hold a profound truth. Purpose is the compass that guides us through life's challenges and triumphs. The Stoics believed that living intentionally, aligning your actions with your deepest values, is the key to fulfillment and resilience. Seneca, one of Stoicism's greatest voices, put it this way: "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that things are difficult." In other words, purpose gives us the courage to face life's obstacles, not as burdens, but as opportunities to grow and contribute. Think about the life of Viktor Frankl, the psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor who wrote Man's Search for Meaning. Despite enduring unimaginable suffering in concentration camps, Frankl found purpose in helping others and holding on to hope. He believed that even in the darkest moments, we have the power to choose our response, and that choice, rooted in purpose, can transform suffering into meaning. Frankl's story is a testament to the Stoic idea that purpose isn't just a luxury, it's a lifeline. So, what does it mean to live with purpose? It's not about chasing grand achievements or external validation. It's about identifying what truly matters to you, your values, your passions, your unique contributions, and aligning your daily actions with those priorities. Purpose isn't something you find, it's something you create moment by moment through the choices you make. Take a moment to reflect: what gives your life meaning? Is it your relationships, your work, your creativity, or something else entirely? How can you bring more of that purpose into your everyday life? The Stoics remind us that purpose isn't a destination, it's a way of living. It's about showing up with intention, even in the small, seemingly insignificant moments. Here's a challenge for you: write down one thing that gives your life meaning. Then think of one action you can take today to honor that purpose. Maybe it's spending quality time with a loved one, pursuing a passion project, or simply being more present in your daily tasks. Every choice you make is an opportunity to live with purpose, and when you do, you'll find that life becomes not just meaningful but deeply fulfilling. Purpose isn't just a guiding light, it's the foundation of a life well lived. And when you align your actions with what truly matters, you'll discover a sense of direction and fulfillment that no external success can match. So, what's one step you can take today to live with purpose? As we come to the end of this journey through the 34 Stoic Secrets, it's clear that these principles aren't just ancient wisdom, they're timeless tools for relentless success. From mastering self-discipline and emotional control to embracing change and finding purpose, each idea builds on the next, creating a powerful framework for living a life of resilience, clarity, and fulfillment. Together, they form a roadmap for navigating life's challenges with grace and strength, no matter what comes your way. At the heart of Stoicism lies one undeniable truth: the power to shape your life begins within. It's not about controlling the world around you, but about mastering your thoughts, emotions, and actions. Self-discipline becomes your anchor, emotional control your shield, and perspective your compass. These aren't just abstract concepts, they're practical strategies you can apply every single day to transform how you think, act, and live. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor whose writings continue to inspire millions, once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." This profound reminder captures the essence of Stoic philosophy. Your mindset shapes your reality. By choosing to focus on what you can control, by embracing challenges as opportunities, and by living in alignment with your values, you dye your soul with strength, resilience, and purpose. Now it's your turn to take these principles and make them your own. Start small, practice gratitude, embrace discomfort, or simply pause before reacting to life's frustrations. Over time, these small steps will add up, shaping you into the best version of yourself. Remember, Stoicism isn't about perfection, it's about progress. It's about showing up day after day and choosing growth over comfort, clarity over chaos, and purpose over passivity. As you move forward, I'd love to hear how these Stoic secrets have impacted your life. Share your thoughts in the comments below. What principles resonate with you the most? How have you applied them in your own journey? And if you found value in this video, don't forget to subscribe and join our community of seekers and doers, all committed to living with intention and relentless success. The journey of self-improvement is never ending, but with Stoicism as your guide, you'll find that every step, every challenge, and every moment becomes an opportunity to grow. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, waste no more time arguing what a good person should be one. So go out there, embrace these principles, and start creating the life you are meant to live. The path to relentless success